Scrubs Season 10 has been confirmed to be on the way, and there are plenty of reasons to be excited about the sitcom's return after more than 15 years away. The Scrubs revival has been teased for a while, but it only really started to pick up any real momentum in the last year or so. Now, it's only a matter of time before the show is back on TV screens and every Doctor from Scrubs comes back to continue the story. All 9 seasons of Scrubs aired between 2001 and 2010, although the 9th and final season, Scrubs, Med School, adopted a very different formula. The sitcom's cancellation as a result of its overhaul could easily have meant Scrubs was done for good. For a long while, there was no reason to believe the cult classic would ever be revived. Thankfully, the decision has been made, and there is plenty to be excited about ahead of Scrubs' return. 5. Creator and former showrunner Bill Lawrence is still involved with Scrubs Season 10. The new Scrubs showrunner has yet to be named. It's already been announced that Bill Lawrence won't be returning as the Scrubs showrunner for the sitcom's upcoming era. However, that doesn't mean he won't have a big part to play in his creation's comeback. A big reason for the delay in the Scrubs revival was that the project was waiting for Lawrence to work out a deal with Apple TV+, which would allow him to work with Disney to make more episodes of the medical sitcom. If Lawrence wasn't going to be heavily involved, this wait wouldn't have been necessary. Lawrence was instrumental in Scrubs' original run. Not only did he create the show, but he also continually set the comedic and dramatic tones that Scrubs became so well known for. So, it's welcome news that he'll contribute to Scrubs Season 10 and possibly beyond. Presumably in an overseer role above the new showrunner, his return is very exciting. 4. It will be exciting to see how Scrubs' much younger characters have developed in the last 15 years. JD's kids will be teenagers in Scrubs Season 10. Although characters like Zach Braff's Dr. John J.D. Dorian were the focus of Scrubs, at least, in the first 8 seasons, the show gradually introduced other figures who were far too young to be notable contributors to the story beyond just existing. Many of the core group of characters had kids by the end of the show, but only Jack Cox, Andrew Miller, had any real scenes, as he was a little older than his other younger co-stars. The Scrubs revival can finally give them all proper storylines. One of the biggest advantages of Scrubs being off the air for so long is that every single one of the kids born or on the way by the end of Scrubs Season 9 will now be teenagers. So, they'll all be leading far more entertaining lives from an audience's perspective. Not only will they be at school, but their future goals will start to take shape, and seeing whether they also want to go into medicine will be interesting. 3. The Scrubs revival won't just be a rehash of the sitcom's golden era. Scrubs Season 10 is trying something new. Scrubs Season 10 altering its formula once again after Med School's failure could easily make fans nervous ahead of the sitcom's revival. The most recent season was pretty much a disaster, but there were certain elements that worked. Lawrence has already confirmed the new Scrubs episodes will split their time between original cast members and new characters again, but he has surely learned his lesson from the last time he tried the same thing. The only other avenues to explore, if not this one, are to try and recreate the original show beat for beat, or continue the same approach that Scrubs, Med School adopted. Neither of these choices is ideal, as the former just wouldn't work because of how much time has passed, and the latter sounds like a recipe for immediate cancellation. On the surface, this decision doesn't seem like something to get too pumped up about, but it at least promises something different and original. 2. Pretty much all available members of the main original Scrubs cast are expected to return for the revival. Zach Braff and company all sound like they'll be back. Sitcom revivals don't always feature or even prioritize bringing the whole cast back together. For example, Frasier's divisive comeback in 2023 brought back Kelsey Grammer in the show's titular role but lacked his beloved scene partner, David Hyde Pierce. Thankfully, Scrubs fans don't need to worry about holdouts or too many absences, as many members of the close-knit ensemble sound very eager to work together again. Sadly, the death of Sam Lloyd in 2020 means Ted can't really be part of Scrubs Season 10. Additionally, Ken Jenkins may not be interested in coming back as Dr. Bob Kelso, as he hasn't acted in 2019. That being said, Kelso's return hasn't yet been ruled out. Other than those two figures, there's no reason to believe that all the other main stars won't be back for the sitcom's revival. They're all still working in the industry today, and they all seem genuinely excited about the project. 1. The original Scrubs cast's chemistry hasn't gone anywhere. The Fake Doctors, Real Friends podcast has already teased what the Scrubs reunion will be like. Members of the original cast have reunited in other shows incredibly rarely since Scrubs ended. Because of this, it can be difficult to tell if the magical chemistry that existed between them all is still going strong after such a long break. However, the official Scrubs rewatch podcast, Fake Doctors, Real Friends, is proof that they all still get along and bounce off one another as if the show had only ended yesterday. Although the podcast has since moved on to other topics, co-hosts Zach Braff and Donald Faison's original mission was to analyze every episode of Scrubs. This goal has now been achieved, and they did so by reaching out to their former Scrubs guest stars to get them all on the podcast to talk about the show and how it was made. All the guest appearances from the Scrubs cast are hilarious and informative in equal measure, which proves they can bring back that same energy to the revival.